difficult to memorize the Quran, keep memorizing. Don't stop. Keep doing it. Is there a hadith or an ayah that says it will be completed in 2 years? Does Allah say the Quran will be memorized in 5 years? Do we have that? It doesn't say that. That's it. You keep trying. You keep striving. You fall down, get back up. And as time goes on, maybe you're doing it wrong. Maybe you're doing too much of this, too little of that. Maybe you need a new teacher. Maybe. But before you can even get to the maybes, you have to be sure that you're exerting all of your effort and energy. That's first and foremost. Before we say that you're doing it in the wrong way, maybe you're not trying hard enough, or maybe it's not enough time. So if you fall, just get back up. Keep doing it. Keep memorizing. Stop. Don't quit. And that's the advice that we always give to the students of knowledge who find it difficult to memorize or difficult to understand, or those students of knowledge who have to speak and talk. I can't give the khutbah. Keep doing it. Don't quit. Whatever you do, keep speaking. Keep talking. Don't say, oh, you shouldn't be talking. This brother's older. Nah. Keep doing it, because the more you do it, the better you will get. And most importantly is, if you keep doing it, and if you fall down 7 times, you get up an 8th time, that shows spirit. That shows tenacity, that you're tenacious and you won't quit. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He loves for His servants to exert themselves. Allah loves this, for the slave to exert himself, and for the slave to fight, and the slave not to quit and not to give up. So that's my advice to that brother or that sister with regards to memorizing the Quran. Keep doing it. Question says, advise the person who struggles to develop a habit of reading. Everyone understand this? Same answer. Is you have to what? Keep reading. Don't stop. Don't give in to your nafs. You get tired, you get bored, keep forcing yourself to read. That's the general principle. And the specific answer is, maybe you need to find something that you like to read. Maybe you need to find something which is pleasurable or a means of leisure, and allow that to introduce you to heavier reading. Maybe you need to be reminded of the necessity of reading, the importance of reading. Maybe you need to hang out with readers. Feel shy to play on your phone and people are reading books around you. But before we even go that far, we say just what? Don't stop reading. Everyone understand this? And we mentioned this last night. HadithDisciple, one of the righteous people of the past, he said, Jahadtu nafsi ala qiyam al-layli sana. He says, it took an entire year for me to successfully establish the night prayer. An entire year, over 12 months, just for me to fight myself to pray at night. فَذُقْتُ حَلَاوَتَهَا أو حَلَاوَتَهُ 20 سَنَةً. He says, and I tasted and I enjoyed the sweetness of that prayer for 20 years. 20 years. So you have to try, you have to fight. But if you give up after 6 months or 4 months, you may not win. Maybe it's not that what you're doing is wrong, but it's just not enough time. Keep hacking at the tree, inshallah ta'ala. And if you hack over and over again, then maybe you need a different hatchet. Or maybe the tree, you need to cut down a different type of tree. But you can't say that until you've exerted what? All of your power in chopping down that tree. That's the mindset of the student of knowledge. And it's one of the most important principles of the HadithDisciple school method. Is the mentality of the student of knowledge. Not how you look or what you wear or where you come from or who knows you or what's your ethnicity, what's your skin. La. How many pens in your pocket means nothing. A true student of knowledge begins and ends here. A true student of knowledge is how you think and how you look at things, and your spirit and your will. Wallahu a'lam. Should a talib al-ilm try to read non-Islamic literature? Is there benefit in this? Of course there is, without a question. No doubt about that. Or before you even say but, we have to understand something. Every non-Islamic book isn't harmful. And every Islamic book isn't beneficial. There are books that are about Islam which are harmful. Books of dalal, of misguidance. Or books that are very beneficial, but they're above your level. And they will cause a great deal of confusion. A great deal of confusion. And you may read something and implement it out of haste without the proper interpretation, and you may cause a great deal of harm. A great deal of harm. So there are good books written by non-Muslims for you. And there are not so good books written by Muslims that weren't written for you. So benefit is benefit. Harm is harm. A appropriate or lack of appropriate books, it goes all the way around. So at the end of the day, if you're reading the dictionary, if you're reading the atlas, if you're reading the thesaurus, if you're reading a book of history, and not actually his story, but actual history, sound tarikh, authentic information, and things like this, that's. And a true student of knowledge who aspires to become a scholar, who aspires to become a debater, and so on and so on, you need these books. Because everyone is not going to come from one aspect or one angle. You have to know about history, religion, you have to know about all of these things. Science, altogether. Let alone the fact that there's nothing wrong with reading a book, even if you read it without the purpose of getting benefit from the book. Unfortunately, a few years ago in the United States, I did a conference, and in that conference, however it came up, I mentioned that I like reading books, and I like reading novels and things like this. I said nothing about fiction. A novel could be non-fiction as well. I said novels. And there was a brother there, very, very sad and unfortunate, an older brother who studied overseas, who's taught class in America, and he found a problem with that. And of course, it didn't come to me directly, through this one, through that one, through that one. How could the brother say this in front of the people? He likes reading English books. He shouldn't say that. Why not? What's wrong with reading an English book? It's not understandable. Is it haram? Is it makruh? What's the problem? What's the mushkila? People play basketball. People play video games. People do this. People do that for recreation. So why can't I say my recreation is reading a book? Something which benefits my mind. Or even if it doesn't benefit, it's pleasurable to me. Is it haram to have pleasure in Islam? It's haram to enjoy something in Islam? So, we live in a world in which people, they think and they feel that very narrow-minded mentality, all right? So that's my opinion with regards to reading any book, English, Urdu, Arabic, etc. If it's a benefit for you, if it's good for you, and even if it isn't a benefit for you, is it a harm for you? And obviously, reading books is better than doing what? Many other things that people do to pass away time. Huh? Wallahu a'lam. Fadl ya akhi.
I've got two questions. They're linked. Jazakallah khair. And number one is for a person, for a talib al-ilm to memorize. Would you advise him after memorizing Arba'in an-Nawawiyya to memorize al-Mutun al-Ilmiyya or to memorize Hadith al-Ahkam? And linking to that question, would you advise to memorize Umdat al-Ahkam or go straight to Bulugh al-Maram?
Clear. With regards to the student of knowledge, who memorized, alhamdulillah, 40 hadiths of Nawawi, which is a major accomplishment. If you have that book under your belt, you have attained a great deal of ilm. And away from your question, brothers who are afraid and scared to do khutbahs or talks or fa'idas, etc., if you have 40 hadith memorized by heart, there's never ever a time in which you're not prepared for a khutbah. Every day. There's a janazah, please give a reminder. Someone says, please give some da'wah. You can live off of 40 hadith of Nawawi. You talk about aqidah, iman, ibadah, zuhd, soften in the heart, death, kullu is in that book. It's a feeling, khairul kathir. A great deal of good just in 40 hadith. And I would advise you and all other disciples of hadith is to make sure to have a thorough understanding of the book. A good, simple, basic understanding. And also stick your nose in Jami' al-Ulum al-Hikam of Ibn Rajab, rahimahullah. It's a book that you should read miraran wa tikraran, over and over again. And it is actually ism ala musamma. It's a compendium of science and wisdom. Haqqan. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. So what do you do next? Jami' al-Mutun al-Ilmiyya, or do you go into Bulugh al-Maram or Umdat al-Ahkam, etc.? Well, it depends on the student. How far do you want to go? How serious are you? How dedicated are you? How good is your memory? If you feel like that you have longevity, you have the time, and you want to do it, take a smaller step. Umdat al-Ahkam, labas. And Jami' al-Mutun al-Ilmiyya is on different topics. So if you just want to memorize the whole book, labas. But there's books on Nahaw in there, books on Aqidah in there, books on this in there. That's not necessarily the order. You understand what I'm saying to you? So me personally, I would advise, or I would say, due to the lack of time that most of us have, your time overseas is limited, your time here is limited, the responsibilities and the need for knowledge in our lands, go right into Bulugh al-Maram. Go right into Bulugh al-Maram. It's a bit bigger, but it's easier, it's simpler, and it's in order. It's in order. Okay? You're memorizing about 500 hadiths from Umdat al-Ahkam. It's a benefit, but those hadiths that talk about those fiqh issues, every fiqh issue is not in Bukhari and Muslim. So you're going to be lost. Bulugh al-Maram starts from water all the way to etiquette in perfect order, tartib. You see what I'm saying to you? So, wallahu alam, whatever you do, it won't hurt you. It's a benefit for both. If you ask me my personal advice, I would say do that. Unless the jump was too big for you. To go from 42 hadith to 1200 hadith is a big jump. No question about that. But you're not memorizing 1200 or 1300 hadiths in full version. You're memorizing mahal al-shahid min al-hadith. And Ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala, no doubt, Hasan al-Ta'lif. His pen was what? Was sweet. He knew how to summarize the hadith and how to give you exactly what he wanted, what? From the hadith. Along with the takhrij. أخرجه الأربعة. وابن أبي شيبة وفلان 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 واللفظ له وصححه وفلان. You see what I'm saying to you? Let alone the service to Bulugh al-Maram. How many shuruh can you find? How many lectures can you find? Al-Ahkam, you can find a few here and there, but nothing like what? Bulugh al-Maram, evident. So it depends. No matter what you do, inshallah, it won't hurt you. Wallahu a'lam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you want to perform i'tikaf in a masjid, does a mahram have to be present? Jazakallahu khairan. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you. No. Mahram does not have to be in the masjid in which you're making i'tikaf. Mahram is only needed for traveling. Mahram is needed for traveling. It's not obligatory or necessary to have a mahram in every single place, every single instance. Now, safety is, that's wherever you go. In your house, you need safety. In the masjid, you need safety. And the bit of reality is, a woman may be safer in the masjid than her own house. There may be someone who's abusing her, or hitting her, or trying to molest her, or whatever the case may be, in her own house. And she may be safer in the masjid. So safety is a concern no matter what, where you are. Having a mahram in the masjid is not a condition of al-i'tikaf. We can do Islam with a mixture of culture, or we can just do what? Islam. My message to husbands and to fathers and uncles, etc. Train. How many non-Muslims on a train? How many sinful Muslims on a train? How many righteous Muslims on a train but may be attracted to her? May not lower their gaze. They need to get married. They can't fast. But she can't come to the masjid unless she has a mahram. But the mahram doesn't take her to college or uni every day, does he? Of course he doesn't. He doesn't. He's very strange. You find the hypocrisy of many men. They let their daughters or wives go places and do things, no mahram whatsoever. But the masjid, seeking ilm, a class, they say, wait, no, I need to accompany you there. What is this? The house of Allah. So that's not a condition of i'tikaf. Wallahu a'lam. Is it obligatory to make hijrah from the west due to the fitna? If you can't live in the United Kingdom, you can't live as a Muslim, it's a fitna for you, it's a hardship for you to practice the basics of your religion, make hijrah. Leave. Go somewhere where the fitna doesn't exist, or where the fitna is less. Okay? That's the bottom line. If you can't do it, if you feel like it's a hardship on you, your kids are going to be corrupted, then leave. Put your trust in Allah and go to where you feel that you can make hijrah towards. That's the bottom line. As far as thinking that there are countries which are free from mistake, free from problems, void of issues, only Allah knows does that exist in 2019. You go make hijrah, you run from 5 problems, and you may encounter 10 problems. You may run from this religious issue and you find another religious issue. Alright? Al-Muhim is that it depends on the person. Me personally, as a person, I do not feel that it's obligatory for everyone to make hijrah. Some people need to make hijrah. Some people have to make hijrah. No question about that. Every single Muslim, I don't necessarily believe that. I believe that there are some Muslims who need to and have to stay in these lands. But that's not every single person. Wallahu a'lam. It says, our intent, our internet. Can you read this, Lord?
Interest-based loan, haram, in all circumstances, especially housing.
Our interest-based loans, haram in all circumstances, especially housing. Do not take any loan that involves interest unless it is a necessity. House, car, college, whatever the thing is. Don't do it Stay away from it, avoid it, unless it is necessity. And Allah knows best. What is the correct approach to takfeer and tabdir? And when is the excuse of ignorance no longer valid for Muslim and non-Muslim alike? A very important question, and I admire the question a lot, whereas the questioner mentioned these two things together, which oftentimes they should be mentioned together as a pair. Takfeer and tabdir. And there lies no doubt, and the truth is said, and the truth never has to apologize. We are very extremely hypocritical beings. Extremely hypocritical. The people are lax. Making tabdi is like what? Bismillah. Drinking a cup of water. Takfir? No. La. There's no takfir. He's a takfiri. It's a takfiri masjid. They're takfiriyun. They're this, or that. But tabdi is what? Cup of water. Correct or incorrect? Something like that. Tabdi, anyone can do it. Anyone can make it. He went here, he did this. Mubtadi'. Shaykh Fulan said he's a mubtadi'. What's the dalil of Shaykh Fulan? I don't know, but he's a mubtadi'. Tabdi' is simple. It is extremely taboo. Anybody can make tabdi', only a scholar can make takfir. ايش هذا النفاق يعني? Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, what did he say in his famous statement? إن التبديع, he said that tabdi', the clearance on innovator is what? The sister of takfir. ليش؟ إيش معنى هذا الكلام؟ كيف يكون أخت التكفير؟ ليش ما يعني أخو التكفير؟ إيش هذا الكلام؟ إيش معنى هذا؟ When you read in Al-Aqidah al-Wasitiyah, and let alone the bigger books of Shaykh Islam Taymiyyah, you see Bab al-Asma'i wal-Ahkam, names and rulings. Names being Muslim, Mu'min, Muhsin, Kafir, Munafiq, Fasiq. That's Asma'. And the Ahkam of Iman, Islam, Ihsan, Kufr, Fisq, Nifaq, Ibtida', etc. Al-Asma' wal-Ahkam are what? They're linked. They're what? They're linked. And that's because it's a branch of Iman. Declaring someone a mu'min, declaring someone a kafir, you can't understand the way of the Khawarij unless you understand the way of Al-Hadith, of what is Iman, what isn't Iman, and what does Iman do? Does it go? Does it fall? Is it one piece? Etc. So the people there lax with tabdir. There's no doubt about that. But takfir, no. They'll never think about it. And that is very what? Hypocritical. Of those two things is what? Wahid. And what Ibn Qayyim said, what Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab said, what the ulama what? Said regarding these things. So at the end of the day, if you're going to make tabdir, if you're going to make takfir, so be it. As long as it's based off of clear, sound knowledge from Quran, Sunnah, and Al-Ijma'. The Kitab, the Sunnah, and Ijma'. Let that be your source for whatever you're saying about someone else. Bottom line, if you don't have that knowledge of the Kitab, the Sunnah, and Al-Ijma', if that's not your level of knowledge, then avoid tabdi', takfir, tafsiq, tadlil, kulluha. That's the bottom line. But we can't mix and match and do what we want to do. Takfir is okay, takfir is a no-no. Takfir is alright, but there's no takfir. Only the ulama can make takfir, but anyone can make tabdir. It's not a circus, guys. Everyone understand this? It's not a play. It's not a musical. It's not a merry-go-round. It's not a game. This is a science. It has rules. What did he say? Very what? Very old rules. And those rules have to be followed and obeyed. You can't pick something and put something down on your fancy. I don't like you, so this tabdir. But this person is a takfiri. Okay, he has his proof to make takfir, and you have your proof for tabdir. Who's right, who's wrong? So that's my advice, is to stay busy with beneficial knowledge. To stay beneficial with righteous action. To stay busy with what? Righteous action. To stay busy with da'wah. And if you're qualified for that, scholar, student of knowledge, al-muhim, qualification, and there's a need, and there's a reason, then that's one thing. If you're not qualified, if there isn't a need, if there isn't a reason, and if you're not being busy and staying busy with those things, then obviously we know what's going to happen, and that's extremely problematic. Everyone understand this? Wallahu a'lam. Next question says, is it fard to wear jilbab? Is it okay if I wear a loose abaya and scarf that covers me? Or do I have to wear a jilbab? Starts from my head and covers the shoulders. No, it's not obligatory to wear any type of clothing or any style or culture of dress in the kitab and in the sunnah and the ijma. To cover yourself, whether it's from your shoulders or your head. Al-muhim is you cover yourself. A woman can wear an abaya that falls on her head down to her feet, and she can wear something under it, which the wind blows, her body is seen. Or it can be transparent, or it can be tight, or it can be a bad fabric, or. And a woman can wear an overgarment that's on her shoulders, and a long khimar, and her body is covered better than the one wearing the abaya. Does Allah Azza wa Jal, hal ta'abbadan Allah Azza wa Jal, did Allah place this upon us as worship? Is there a hadith that states that? Min al-katifain? Is that in the Quran? Is that consensus of the Salaf Salih that it has to be from the head and not the shoulders? If it's not, then we go back to the meaning and the wisdom, and that is sitr, covering. So as long as her body is covered, it's loose, it's not transparent, it's not perfumed, it's not like a man, etc., that's hijab shari. And if it does hug her body, if it's transparent, if it's perfumed, then that's hijab ghayr shari. Is it obligatory to fall from the shoulders? Bring the kitab, bring the sunnah, bring the ijma. And if you don't have those three things, then you say, Jazakallah khairan, that's your view, that's your ijtihad, that's the fatwa of Shaykh Fulan, طيب, لا بأس. لكن لا تلزم الناس بهذا القول. Don't force that upon the people. Saying that this has to be, and there's no concrete evidence to support that. Ijtihadat, umumat, generalities, Arab culture, they had a jilbab from the head, min jalabibihinna, etc. Mashi. Mumkin. Maybe. بغير إلزام. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan for the beneficial lecture. Number one, how to control anger. Number two, how to increase khushu and salah. Number three, how to know whether some speaker is truthful upon the correct methodology. Barakallahu fikum ya shaykh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you as well. How to control anger. Ask Allah to protect you from your anger. Read those verses in the Quran on which Allah praises those who control their anger. Wal kadhimin, Allah says those who suppress and stifle their anger, maybe it's a reward for them. Read the words of the Prophet ﷺ, don't become angry. After the man asked him for advice, Osini. The only thing that he said, don't become angry. And there's a wisdom behind that. Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar rahimahullah in Fath al-Bari, he quotes from some of the ulama say that one of the wisdoms of avoiding anger and staying away from anger is that anger is a manifestation of pride. It's a manifestation of kibr. It's a manifestation of arrogance. And the proof for that is, if there was a man who had an anger problem, and let's say that the man was 5 feet and 5 inches tall. And there was a man who stood in front of him who was 7 feet tall. How angry would he get in front of him? How bad would he lose his temper? It's a big guy. But let it be a man who's only 5 feet tall, or a woman who's only 5 feet tall. He would explode in anger and rage. But he wouldn't get that angry when someone was 2-3 times bigger than him. Because he knows that he can push and bully this person around who's smaller than him. So he's angry. He manifests his His pride and conceit in himself. But he's looking up here. He's going to think twice before he becomes angry. And that is the case of most bullies, if not all of them. They bully people that they can bully and push around. But the moment, like we saw today in Hyde Park, when they see someone that they can't bully around, they want to be peaceful and turn the other cheek. It's the reality. So anger is evil. And it's one of the easiest ways of controlling it, and obviously practice makes perfect. Number two, or last but not least, my last piece of advice is make sure that you have someone with a friend. Tell them, listen, do me a favor. When you see me become angry and lose my temper, I want you to take a picture and a video of me. Don't ask my permission. I start cursing and throwing things around. Take all of the footage of me getting angry. Sit down. Watch the video. Look how ugly you are. I said that. I did that. I punched that. I threw that down. I broke that. Astaghfirullah. You're not going to be pleased how you look when you're in that moment of rage. So reflect upon that. Reflect upon that. How to increase khushu' in the salah? Learn the Quran. Learn the Arabic language. Read the tafsir of the Quran. Understand the words of Allah. Understand what's being said to you. When Allah is speaking to you. When Allah is talking to you. He's telling you about this one and that one and this story and this reward and this punishment. Learn the Lugha al-Arabiyyah and learn the tafsir. That's a very important way of, or easy way of obtaining khushu' in the salah. Number 3, how do you know a speaker is truthful and upon the correct methodology? Number 1, sincerity. Number 2, common sense. Number 3 is by you knowing the fundamentals. Not the exotic fancy stuff, the basic fundamentals. If you're sincere, and if you use your common sense, and you yourself know the fundamental basics, that is a tremendous stepping stone to reaching certainty or knowledge of who should I learn from and who what I should not learn from. That's in brief. Wallahu a'lam. Is it haram to take a student loan with riba, even if you don't pay it back because you may not go over the threshold or pay back the loan amount in 30 years left alone, let alone the interest that accumulates on the loan? Once more, do not take an interest-based loan unless it is a necessity. Unless it is a necessity. Period. And even when it is a necessity, it's very dangerous. If you read non-Islamic books of kuffar, people who are not Muslims, you'll be shocked what you'll find about what they say about usury and interest, and the history behind it, and what Jews say about it, and what Christians say about it, and what's supposed to be in their scriptures about usury and interest. And you read things of modern economic specialists about the danger of riba and the harm of riba and how destructive riba is. It creates modern slavery, a virtual electronic chain and ball. A virtual chain and ball. You go to school to be a doctor, how long do you have to pay off that debt? Buying a house, buying a car, getting married. Every bill that comes in. Do we realize this, guys, that we're always in debt 24/7? People, they ask the question, can you make Hajj if you have a debt? Can you make Umrah if you have a debt? Can you go in the lost cause if you have a debt? Can you seek ilm if you... We're 24/7 we're in debt. And that's because of right now. The light's on. What does that mean? That there's a what? There's a bill. There's a debt. There's a cycle. So you have so much debt, so much slavery. Do you need this big, gigantic house? Do you need this brand new car, this type of car? Do you need this? The only way you can get a job through this degree, through this university? How long do you want to be a slave of the system? So be mindful of that. Wallahu a'lam. Next question says, we're running out of time. I'm so sorry for rushing through these answers. What's the right and wrong thing to do in Ramadan? The right thing to do is to study and to read and to take the example of the Prophet ﷺ, who made the clear message what to do in Ramadan. Fast, pray, charity, itikaf, and most importantly, control your tongue. That's the madhab al-salaf, is to control your tongue. Fasting, leaving out food and drink is easy. Backbiting, slander, gossip, that's the difficult thing. That's what you should do in the month of Ramadan. Wallahu a'lam. I never have the energy to pray properly, and I can't focus on hifz, etc. at work. What should I do? Ask Allah to protect you from the evil of yourself. And ask Allah to protect you from the evil of jinn and of men. Read the Quran upon yourself. Make the adhan. Listen to the adhan. Read Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran every single day in your house. Don't go to sleep unless you have wudu. Don't go to sleep unless you make tawbah. Connect yourself with Allah. Remain positive. Stay in the company of good Muslim friends. And do not be by yourself if you don't have to be by yourself. You need to be with someone all of the time. Wallahu alam. Which books would you recommend of student knowledge to start with prior to seeking knowledge in Medina, Egypt? I don't understand the question. If you're a student of knowledge, what's prior to seeking knowledge? Except for what I just explained of the backwards philosophy that a student of knowledge is only in Egypt. A student of knowledge is only in Medina. That's wrong according to our method. A student of knowledge is in London. Before you get on the airplane to go to Egypt, you're supposed to be a what? Student of knowledge. You know no Arabic. You're supposed to be a what? Student of knowledge. It's a mentality. Everyone understand this? How you look at yourself, how you conduct yourself, how you hold yourself. Everyone understand this or not? And I'm telling you right now, you're asking me a question. I'm sitting in front of you. If I wasn't a student of knowledge in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, before Medina, I wouldn't be here today. And there would be no hadith disciple. If I waited to go overseas to become a student of knowledge. Student of knowledge is where you are right now. So there's no such thing as prior. Now, of course you mean student of knowledge, overseas. There are levels of talab al-ilm. You can study for many years out your life and be a talab al-ilm. There's always someone who's more knowledgeable, who's learned. There's always someone who has greater hifd. So there's no such thing as prior. Alright? If you want to know what books to read, what books to study, what teachers to have, please go to the many classes that we have devoted on HadithDisciple just to this question. And there's an entire playlist just on this question about being a student of knowledge, so on and so forth. How would you define what you mean by necessity with regards to interest-based loans? There's no definition of necessity. Necessity is always relative and subjective. One person says it's a necessity for me to do it, and another one says it isn't a necessity. I have to go to college and get a job and take care of my parents and get married. I can't live like this. I can't do this. I can't work here. It's a necessity. I won't be able to function. Maybe. But the next brother or the next sister says, I don't have to do that. I can go to a vocational school and get a trade. I can go to a smaller college and get the degree without the riba loan. Why could that? So that's from person to person. What is necessity is based off of person to person. Are there general Islamic principles? Of course. And which a person fears yakhsha talaf. He fears death. That's definitely a necessity. He fears darar, yadhaquhu, harm. That's necessity. But even that's relative. A person says, we're not going to die, we'll be all right. Another person says, I want to die. It's from person to person. At the end of the day, be honest with yourself. In tastaqillah, yasduq. If you're truthful with Allah, that's what you will receive, inshallah ta'ala. You know what is necessity. You know what isn't necessity. You know how much sabr you have, and how much sabr you don't have. Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. If it wasn't for the lack of time, we would try to sit here and answer your questions to the best way we know how. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry that we have to leave. There are many other places and locations that we have to go to. It was my pleasure to come here and to speak with you and discuss these things with you. Jazakumullahu khairan. Hopefully it won't be the last time that we get to meet, inshallah.